to be on the Invincible.
That was lit. This man right here is a bad man.
We can do some damage on some churros down there.
Yeah!
Welcome back to Invincible, the show where we tell the tales of the plays, the people, and the pursuit of becoming invincible both on and off the field. My name is Vince Wolfram, and we had another jam-packed weekend. Week 2 of college football. It was a busy one. 79 FBS college football games this weekend, the most on a single Saturday of the entire 2025 season, and it served as the only time there will be 65 or more FBS games in a single day all year long. And Canyon Sheeran, my guy, TND Takeover, is with us again. Canyon, man, Saturdays, I know they're your favorite. 79 games, you can't really beat that. TND, how was your second date? How was your second date with college football? Week 2,
dude.
We're here.
It was a beautiful date, dude. Okay, I was like very romantic. Okay, I spent all day in a singular room watching nothing but approximately 12. I don't know the math on it. Okay, probably 12 hours straight of college football. And let me tell you, it was a beautiful day of college football. I heard a lot of talk. It was a boring week. It was not a good week of college football. Michigan, Oklahoma was going to be the only good game. You were wrong. Okay, you guys don't know ball. Okay, if you can't appreciate the nitty gritty games, I don't want you. Okay, I don't want you to be a fan of college football if you can't appreciate Texas State and UTSA. If you can't appreciate the meeps against the Bobcats, why are you here? Okay, if you can't appreciate the border war coming back, why are you here? If you can't appreciate the Cyhawk rivalry, why are we here, man? SMU Baylor. I mean, I know it was on CW Network with the Flash. Okay, I know, but like, come on, bangers. We had some good games this weekend, we had some good ball, and you threw out stats I didn't even know existed. Most FBS games or whatever, well, impressive. But let's get into it. Shout out Vince with the stats there. He's always gonna outstat me probably. That's just Vince Wolfram for you. But I'm excited to talk ball, and let's get into it.
Certainly a great weekend. A lot of energy around this weekend. I think after the fact, kind of like you mentioned, going into it, there was some. It's an average week, not a ton of big games. Wrong. Well, because we've got the breakdown for all of the best games of week 2. And you mentioned, I like to research. I like the stats. Let's take a look at the second ever battle between Oklahoma and Michigan, right? So these two teams battling it out down there in Norman. As we know, there's a lot of history here too. Michigan head coach, Coach Moore, he was an Oklahoma O-lineman under head coach Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. So there was that relationship. But on the field, these are two teams with new quarterbacks going head to head. Break this one down for me in Norman, because Michigan struggled offensively. Oklahoma had a quarterback that had the fan base rallying around him for the entire game, it felt like, and Oklahoma was able to come out victorious.
Yeah, it's two college football blue bloods, man. You have to really appreciate when you get to see those matchups, right, in college football, especially early on in the season. Something that a college football fan shouldn't take for granted. And like you said, it was a introduction of two quarterbacks, right? I like to call it the battle of unknown, or the battle of variables, if you should say, right? It was one of those games where with Underwood and Napier, it was who's going to show up, right? Who's going to prove themselves at the Power 5 level, Power 4 now. And I think John Napier really decided to show up, right? And that level of John Napier that we saw against Michigan was really, really, really impressive. But on a tertiary note, like, I got a lot of question marks about how good Michigan really is. And then when I say that, I don't say that to undermine Oklahoma. Okay, Oklahoma did a lot of things good, right? John Napier looked really good in times, had some errors that he can't make in SEC play, and I think Oklahoma fans will be the first to tell you that. But the Michigan team just didn't look like a Michigan team. That offensive line was getting bullied. Okay, that defensive line was getting bullied. That team did not, tackling wise, they did not look good. Their play calling offensively, really questionable. Underwood struggled. Okay, like, so the Oklahoma team, like that for Oklahoma, if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I'm really excited. That's like the biggest win in Norman, probably of the Brent Venables era. Really exciting. That front seven was ferocious, man. Their defense looked really, really good. Their D line looked really good. Like, shout out, right? So when I say I don't really know how good Michigan is, that's not to undermine Oklahoma, right? Like, I just want to make that like very abundantly clear, because I think Oklahoma looked really, really good at times. But for Oklahoma, Oklahoma has to figure out the rushing game, okay? Because John Mateer is not going to be able to run for 74 yards in the SEC very often, okay? And that's just the reality. And in the SEC, if you don't have a strong running game, you don't win that many SEC games, okay? And that's just the reality. So I don't know what the issue is there. I don't know. Jaden Ott's not ought to go, okay? OTT. I can give you the whole song if I need to, thanks to the Cowgoritham. I don't know what's wrong with that running game. That running game's got to figure out for OU. The good news is they didn't need the running game much other than Mateer's legs because that Michigan defense did not. Michigan defense, I don't know. I mean, they looked like a failure from every level. Like this game, the final score was 24-13, but I felt like Oklahoma won by 21. Like I felt like Oklahoma never really was ever going to lose that game. I didn't feel like Oklahoma was threatened by Michigan. I don't know if you felt the same way, but I really thought that Oklahoma clearly looked like the better team. I guess that defense was on the field like quite a bit, but that defense that wasn't the Michigan defense we're used to seeing. That wasn't the Michigan defense that beat Ohio State last year. Like that was really shell shocking. And if you're Sharon Moore, you got to get that turned around. And now you can't coach or be in the facilities for 2 weeks. So really interesting there, and that's kind of my thoughts on that game.
No, totally. And I think the most impressive part from Oklahoma's standpoint was that in that last drive, everyone knew Oklahoma had to run the football to keep the clock going. And against a Michigan defensive line like we've known Michigan to have, right? They're hard to run against. Well, Oklahoma drove the bus right through Michigan's front yard. It was a long drive. It cut clock. They did exactly what they needed to do. Run. And for me, it was the fact that what Oklahoma proved to me is they're good beyond just the flashy things, right? Like we saw Mateer do what he had to do, 21 of 34 with 270 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, a couple on the ground. But it wasn't just the flashy stuff. It was also the trench work. And that was so evident, I thought, on that last drive because they did what they had to do early. They got up 14-0. They held their own. I thought that was big. It was just a level of toughness from Oklahoma that I was not surprised, but kind of delighted to see, right? Like I knew that they had the flash and all the talk about Mateer, but I didn't know if they were one of those get down to it kind of teams. And I think for a while they took advantage of Michigan not having Jayshon Barham in the game. I thought that was a pinpoint that they were trying to do because they were really trying to attack where he would have been. And I guess to hype up the Oklahoma fans, like let's not forget, since the end of World War II, there's no team that's won more games in college football than the Oklahoma Sooners. And I'm not saying they're back because they have a very tough road ahead they play 7 teams in the top 25 this year. As of right now, they got Bama, Texas, LSU, Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Michigan a couple nights ago. They have a very tough schedule, but there was a level of attraction, of like loud, like that environment looked crazy. And I think it has to do with the play of John Mateer. And there's an element there that I know they mentioned it on the broadcast being Baker Mayfield-like, where he has the ability to kind of encapsulate the feeling and the feeling of hope, building it back up. I think he's a talent mix between like a Bo Nix and a Baker Mayfield. I think that's a weird sort of combination of skill sets, but I'm watching him. I'm like, well, he can run, he can throw, he feels in control, but he's also like hype. He's getting after it. Like they had some juice.
Yeah, I mean Oklahoma and John Mateer, very unlike Baker Mayfield for college football fans because Baker Mayfield was not very liked, right, at the college football. OU fans, you loved him, and I've grown to love Baker in college because I think he just brought a level of aura and swagger to the game that can't be duplicated, right? But John Mateer, college football fans all liked him, right? We all kind of fell in love with John Mateer last night and what he was able to do against Michigan. And I'd just like to say one thing too, like shout out Bill Beatonball, okay? Their offensive line coach did a really fantabulous job. There's been a lot of question marks about this offensive line. This was an offensive line that last year was not good, okay? To be fair, Oklahoma as a whole last year was not very good, right? But with that being said, I mean, Bill Beatonball did his thing. They've got to get better in run blocking, and they've got to get that figured out, right? Like your quarterback usually can't be your leading rusher. Okay, like that shouldn't be the case. Javante Barnes and Blake Hawk both only had 24 yards each, and Jade not only had 9 yards and 4 carries. Like that's a really big. You didn't pay Jade not all that money for him to get 4 carries and 9 yards. Okay, and you told me before the game he was a full go. Okay, like you Arbuckle said we're gonna put him here, we're gonna do him here. Like you said a lot. And then for him to do that, it was just really weird for me. But they didn't need him. So on the bright side for Oklahoma fans. But yeah, like I was really impressed. I think there was a moxie kind of feel around John Napier and that fan base. He's like the hope, right? That fan base was they needed help. Okay, they've had a rough go. The Brent Venables era has not been a full go for Oklahoma. This is a do or die year for him. I've said it once. I've said it all off season. If he doesn't get it done in Norman, there will be a lot of problems this year in Norman, right? If he doesn't win at least 8 games with this roster, and I think some Oklahoma fans would tell you even more, then there's going to be some people with some please fire Brent Venables signs outside of their football facility at the end of the season. But Oklahoma looked really good, really impressed. I was most impressed by their front seven. Really, like I said, I wish I would have got to see more from their secondary. But speaking on that point, Michigan, man, their play calling, disastrous. Okay, I don't understand.
I was very surprised by that.
I was having a conversation with somebody this morning, and I was like, dude, it looks like Michigan watched the Texas OU film and said, hey, we can do what Texas does
Literally.
against OU.
Thank you.
And in the back of my head, I said, you don't have the receivers. You don't have the talent to do that. Your scheme isn't fit to do that. You don't have the speed. Your receivers couldn't block on a screen to save their life, for starters. The OU DBs were making your receivers look like you guys have never practiced blocking in your life.
JV team.
And I just didn't understand the play calling, and Underwood like breaks pumped. Okay, I said it last week to you, and I don't know if we got to talk about it on the podcast, whether it was before or after. I said Bryce Underwood looked okay, and you kind of looked at me like, and I said he looked okay. I don't know why we're reaching for why we're trying to make grape soda with grapes, because like we don't have enough ingredients yet to see what Bryce Underwood really is. And that's a really hard environment. Norman is hard to win at, but Bryce Underwood did not impress me. And Michigan fans shouldn't be impressed, but at the same point, Michigan fans should also be patient. Okay. The reality is he's a freshman. This kid's 18 years old. As much as he's going to say, I'm the best freshman you're ever going to see, and he can have that self-confidence, you need to have the awareness that might not be the case, and that's okay. Right. But, and also, Underwood looked bad because Oklahoma's front seven made him look bad. Okay, Brent Venables, masterclass. An absolute beautiful game from BV and co. Really, really, really impressive. I wish because the Michigan play calling was so bad, I didn't really get an assessment on on Oklahoma's secondary, which I would have loved to see. But ultimately, due to a really, really good game. And before we leave this game, I just wanted to say one thing. Oklahoma fans, if you made it this far, I hope you haven't thought I've been rude about your bias towards your team, but I'm going to say one thing, and I mean this with the most amount of due respect. I don't like preseason rankings. I don't believe in preseason rankings. Preseason rankings are there to sell tickets, build hype, and TV ratings.
They are stupid. Okay?
So the preseason ratings are there for your own amusement. Okay, College Game Day needed somewhere to go this week, and they wouldn't have a place to pick where to go this week if they didn't have preseason rankings, right? So like the Norman, do not get me wrong, you guys showed out, you were loud and proud and supported your team to pull off an upset. Shout out you guys, right? But this is also one of those things where it's like, how good are both these teams really? And I don't know, right? I don't think. Like Oklahoma looked like they had some swagger, looked like they had a lot of fun. That front seven looked really, really good. John Napier had definitely looked really good at times. But these teams were not great last year. Case in point, obviously it's a full new year, but the question is, how good can both these teams really be? I think is one we'll find out down the line. But impressive. Michigan fans, might be a long season for you guys.
It's the first time Michigan had been held scoreless in the first half in just over 5 years. I thought Underwood never really cut loose. I would have loved to see that. I thought it was kind of a sheltered play calling situation. Like you mentioned, it was kind of just confusing. Like if he's this star that we speak of, where is it? Almost similar to exactly what we talked about Arch Manning. It was a little laid back. I wish they would have let him go, let him cut loose a little bit. I mean, you can tell just by production. I mean, Michigan 280 some odd yards to Oklahoma's 400 in total offense. First down differentials, I think Oklahoma had 10 more first downs than that of the Wolverines. So just, I mean, not the best day for Wolverines fans on offense. And shout out to Oklahoma. That's a big win. I think they needed that win to help them over their next couple of weeks because it's not going to get much easier for the Sooners down in Norman. Now,
I'd like to just say, sorry to interrupt you, Oklahoma won by double digits and they lost the turnover battle 2-0. In college football, when you see a team lose the turnover battle by 2, the odds that team won and by double digits is very low. So really good shout out to Oklahoma. And like I said, Oklahoma should have won by more. I'd be a lot happier if I was an Oklahoma fan if Oklahoma won by more. Regardless if I'm an OU fan, I'm happy, dude. There's hype around Oklahoma football again. I mean, take a deep breath. Okay, there's hype in Norman. Okay, it's been a while, dude. Norman, they've been in a drought. It's been the Arizona desert in terms of hype lately. So I think it was really cool to see Gaylord Memorial rocking and to win a game, to win time of possession, but you had 2 turnovers to outgain them by almost 130 yards. Just really impressive. Really, really impressive by Oklahoma.
Staying in the SEC, we'll head down to the Swamp. And last week, I want to point this out. I was surprised in my flip-flop pick that USF did what they did to ranked Boise State in week 1. And into week 2, I noted, I said, hey, this USF team, they could be tough. They could give Florida some problems. And it turns out, if you mess with the bull, you get the horns, because USF walked into Gainesville, and in the last 6 minutes of this game, it was one of those where you felt as if USF could take it. And Florida had this confidence with about 8 minutes left to play, 6 to 8 minutes left to play, or maybe Gator fans were feeling the love. Like they were feeling, all right, we got this in the bag. And then you get a 15-yard penalty for spitting on someone, Gators. Then USF hits on a big screenplay, and then all of Gator Nation has chills. They're sweating. They think they're going down, and that was exactly the case. Florida gave it up. Hope dwindled, and the Bulls come out victorious in the end. This was a crazy one, I thought. For the country, it seemed as if this was one of the biggest surprises of the day. I was fueling the fire of the USF Bulls coming into this one.
Yeah, man, this was one of those games where if you're Billy Napier, hey, brother, you could not lose this game. Florida, I think their schedule, they're only favored in 2 of their remaining games, and that is against Kentucky. And right now, I think they're still favored against Florida State, but that might flip, right? Over time, that might change. So if you're Florida, man, it's a tough stretch ahead. If you're the Bulls, shout out to UCF Bulls. Shout out Byron Brown, dude. Dog.
Showed out.
This is a team that I put when I did my preseason rankings. I not taking credit here. I said this was my first team out. Okay, I didn't rank a Go 5 team, and I just didn't really know. But this is a USF team and Alex Golish and a healthy Byron Brown. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't run through a wall for Alex Golish. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips of his post-game speeches and what he's saying about a brotherhood.
South Florida, brother.
Dude, and the way he has encapsulated that fan base and that culture of South Florida and what he's been able to do has been, bar none, really, really, really impressive. The team he's assembled, Byron Brown, just a guy that the fact he's able to keep him there, right? Like he got hurt early last year, which really, really hurt USF. But Byron Brown came back and returned and had a really, really, really good game. 23 for 36, 263 yards, a touchdown passing, 66 carries on 66 yards on 17 carries for a quarterback against a Florida D-line that is supposed to be really good this year, right? So I look at this game, right, and we love to talk about certain things, and this game, what really broke me, and I think what broke every Florida fan more than anything, was 3 minutes left. Okay, USF goes out there and they kick a field goal. They missed that field goal. By the hair on their chinny chin chin, they missed that field goal. Florida trots out there. And you think, wow, Florida survives. And then I witnessed one of the worst calls I've ever seen from an offensive staff to throw the ball on first down. And then guess what? They by the grace of God, USF missed the field goal, and then by the grace of their own doing, they couldn't get a damn first down. They went 3 and out. They were on the field for 27 seconds. They were on the field for as long as it takes me to take a pee after an hour-long service at church. Okay? Like I'm baffled. Okay? Like I don't get it. You have all this talent. You have Lagway. You tell me, Florida fans, you told me how good Lagway was going to be all damn year. Guess what? He looks like a really talented player on a really bad team. Okay, if you want me to be honest with you. He has his moments, like he does. He looks like a really talented player with a bad scheme and bad talent around him. That's what it looks like. And if I'm a Florida fan, I'm disgusted. Like I don't know. I don't know how Billy Napier still has a job. And at this point, like, I don't mean that respectfully. Respectfully, Billy Napier, how the hell do you still have a job? Like, and the thing is, his buyout's not even crazy. Billy Napier's buyout's $20 million. Like, that's chump change, okay? Florida spends more than that on their basketball team, okay? Like that's chump change for them, okay? So it's like,
Shoot, I mean, they
don't
offered
know if
USF $500,000 to play him in Gainesville. How'd that turn out?
I don't know if Florida, their athletic director, has just accepted the fact that they're now a basketball and baseball school. And I mean, hell, they weren't even a baseball school last year. Their head coach is suspended to start the year, I think, in baseball a few games because he threw a damn fit after he got dropped by Coastal Carolina in the regional. So it's like I don't know, man. I sat here and I really thought when USF missed that field goal and Florida got the ball, the graphic was ready. I made the Gators survive. I made the graphic. I was ready. I was like, damn, college football, that would have been a great upset for the college football world. And then you went 3 and out. 3 and out. That's gotta be like, that's like
and they left points on the board. That was the other thing, is they had chances to score, and it was either their own penalties or their own mistakes where they left points on the board. And that, I mean, if you leave the door open in arm's length for UCF to come riding through, here's some red. You know what happens when a bull sees red? Boom, right through the gate, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and Florida fans are going to talk about, like, those 2 touchdowns and whatever, but at the end of the day, you're playing South Florida. I think you were 21-point favorites, 17.5-point favorite. I don't know the exact number on that. Sorry, I'm not a betting man. But you were big favorites, okay? Yeah. So I want to say it was 21.5 closing line. Yeah. I think I saw it this morning. You were still big favorites because your roster is that talented. Okay, your team is supposed to be there. You are given Billy Napier plenty enough time, ample time to rebuild that program, and that program is the furthest thing from rebuilt. Now, like, for Florida,
yes.
I want to say I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the answer is, and the answer is firing Billy Napier. But the thing is that the fact that he is still employed as we record this podcast on Sunday is embarrassing.
And the next month isn't going to get any easier for him either, right? At LSU, at Miami, at home versus Texas, and at A&M. That's a brutal month to have just lost a game like you did against UCF, hoping to potentially keep your job and not get bought out and get booted from the seat. But that's a tough month to try to recover from. And I think the reason he does have his job is just because of the end of last year. Like, we remember the beginning of last year when the Billy Napier chants were ringing through the swamp as he was leaving the field. The chirps were there. And then he has the end of the season that he does with DJ Lagway and all this excitement building around that to basically come crashing down with this game.
I mean, yeah, if they lose to LSU by double digits, just leave them there. Okay, yeah. Don't even put them on the plane. Like, and that's the thing. Like, pull the Lane Kiffin on them. Okay, let them go on the tarmac. Okay, like, I don't understand. I don't know. Florida is way too good of a program historically, way too culturally rich, way too fan base invested, way too big of a program to accept this level of mediocrity. And I think every Florida fan will tell you that right now. Really disappointed. I feel like I gave the Bulls a lot of credit, but if I didn't, let me say it one more time. The USF Bulls, Byron Brown, Alex Golish, really, really good win. Okay. You guys should celebrate that. And I cannot believe you guys just beat Florida for the first time ever. I want to say that was the first time they've ever beat Florida. And for the first time, in my opinion, there's a new Big Three in Florida, and the University of Florida is not in it. Okay, the new Big Three in Florida is USF, Miami, and Florida State until further notice, because the University of Florida decides that this is what they want to do.
Certainly hard to not throw USF in that mix. I mean, you 2 wins against AP ranked opponents. It's the first time they've had that in the same season since 2009, much less the first 2 games of the season. I think that's enough of a compliment in and of itself, right? And then you think about the fact that Florida Gators paid them boys $500,000 to come play them in Gainesville, and that Alex Golesh, the 41-year-old man, as the head coach of this team, he's somebody I hope South Florida can hang on to, because he's going to be a coach that I think there's going to be plenty of teams across the land that are going to have interest in that guy. He has a lot of potential. He's grown a USF team from bad to obviously now ranked. So they're on the up and ups, and like you mentioned too, Byron Brown showed out. 23 of 36, 263 yards and a score. That's my team of the week right there, the USF Bulls. Any more on this game before we head down to the next one?
One quick shout out Todd Orlando. Texas fans, close your ears. I know you never want to hear the word Todd Orlando after his stint at the University of Texas. But Todd Orlando has USF playing defense, and USF doesn't usually play defense. That has been the problem. Alex Golesh, them boys are playing hard. Them boys are tackling. They're moving fast to the ball. They're playing as a unit. They're playing as a brotherhood, as Alex Golesh would say. So shout out Todd Orlando and that USF defense, holding a Gator offense that people thought would be really, really good to the little amount of points they did. Overall, shout out USF. Final thoughts, just shout out USF. And Florida fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, we could sign that letter, put it in the envelope, and send it off. That's our love letter to Gainesville. Next game, we're staying in the SEC, one of the best home environments in all of college football, and there was one sound that was vibrating throughout this entire little city in the middle of Mississippi last night, and it was a cowbell, because Mississippi State, on a final play, 58-yard touchdown, Brennan Thompson had that entire stadium in a euphoric feeling, beating ranked Arizona State after it's almost like they won twice. They were up 16 or 17 to nothing. Arizona State, who returned, I think, 17 starters, which was the most in the Power 4, Power 5, whatever you want to call it, returned almost a majority of their starters. They drive back down, they score, they make it tight, and when they take the lead, Mississippi State gets this opportunity to win the game. And I'm watching him. He's under center. He's waiting. He finds this guy deep. He finds Thompson, and the ball's in the air. And I'm thinking, there is no way they left him that open. And I think I saw on a 100-yard scale, he is the fastest player in college football. How you let that guy go and get the game winner, I don't know. That's the guy you should have been watching from the snap. So a great win for Mississippi State. The first time they've had a non-conference home win over a ranked team. I think it was 34 years. Crazy.
I mean, it's been a tough few years, right? So for them to get their biggest win of the decade at home, I'm sure Starkville, Mississippi was one of the coolest places to be in America on Saturday night. Okay, you can argue with the wall and tell me, oh, who wants to go to Mississippi? Let me tell you, I would have loved to be in Starkville, Mississippi when they pulled that game off. Okay, there was just something euphoric about them cowbells ringing. I don't know if when Brennan Thompson scored, when you heard them cowbells going, I mean, like, I was just, what a game, man. And yeah, Brennan Thompson, speedster, dude. He's been a speedster since he got to the college football level. And it's cool to see him get a career. He's in his final year at Miss State. Been cool to see him really start to thrive there. For Arizona State, man, just would you let me indulge on a funny story real quick before I talk? I was at Dutch Bros. Saw a guy wearing an Arizona State hat. Yes, I'm the guy that gets out to order at Dutch Bros. For some reason, I'm not a drive-thru guy.
And it's every Sunday. He's not just there once
it's every Saturday.
He's there every Sunday.
Saturday. And I saw this guy in an Arizona State hat. Hey, go Sun Devils, man. And I made a joke about how they're playing the bottom dwellers of the SEC. And you know what he told me? He said, we're going to whoop their tail. He said, they haven't seen anything like us. And I said, he said they're barely even in the SEC. And I said, okay, yeah. Who knows though? Blake Shapen can be pretty good. You know, like Jeff Levy year 2, you never really know. You know, you made fun of the cowbells. And I think it was after that moment I got here and I was making my TND hot takes, and I said, hold on now. I gotta put Mississippi State being Arizona State. He disrespected the cowbells.
Don't you dare make fun of the cowbells. Don't you dare.
Arizona State learned a little ball, killing Dillingham. did not have the best PR run this week with the comments he made himself.
Made fun of the
Really,
cowbells. That makes me sick.
really disappointed in Sam Levitt. Really disappointed in Sam Levitt. I get no Scat Pack, no Cam Scatabo, no more. But Sam Levitt just, dude, he had like 7 passing yards until like the last drive was like under a minute left in the first half. Embarrassing. Finished 10 for 22, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Jordan Tyson looks like the only person in that receiving core that wants to be playing football for Arizona State. For Mississippi State, huge game. Blake Shapen played phenomenal. 19-33, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just really impressive. I mean, at the same point, we are so close, right? We are one broken play away from saying Arizona State makes this really cool comeback, right? But the case in point is they did it. They lost the game to Mississippi State. A team that is still expected to finish lower in the SEC. But right now, nobody wants to hear that in Starkville, Mississippi. Right now, what they want to hear is that Starkville, Mississippi just beat a top 25 team, okay? That the Mississippi State football team has life, has a chance, right? And that's all they wanted. They wanted some hope. They've got hope in Starkville now. Excited to watch Mississippi State and how the rest of their season shapes up.
I cannot believe, dude, at Dutch Bros disrespected the cowbells. That's one of those, how dare you?
I'm not gonna lie. I might have also said that they're a baseball
God, here's
school.
the truth.
I might have also said that they're a baseball school and that's why they're still in the SEC. But like, hey, Doobie Noble, elite baseball spot. Okay, I didn't say to the Cowbells. Okay, I still made my executive decision to say that they were gonna pull off the upset. But I did say it was a baseball school, and I wasn't lying. Okay, one thing about me is like I'm honest, man. Okay, that's a baseball school, but hey, football. Don't let football get hot because it can turn into a football and baseball school real quickly.
All right. See, we like that. All right. You know what? That's the perfect just bow on that one. We're gonna head to the next game now without disrespecting any more cowbells. All right. The Cyhawk game. We're going to head up to the lovely state filled with fun activities that no one knows what they are. The Cyhawk game between Iowa and Iowa State. Road team has won each of the last 5 meetings. Number 16 Iowa State beats Iowa at home for the first time since 2011. And this game's always a close one. 12 out of the last 14 decided by 10 or less points. The difference maker in this one is that I think Iowa State out-Iowa'd Iowa. And what do I mean by that is we all know what Iowa's mojo is, right? Defense, defense, defense. That's really what this was. It was a trench fest. It was a nose battle. They were all up in pad land, just crunching each other. I thought Rocco Becht, he's a guy he's really, really hard to dislike, even just from a broad fan perspective. I mean, this guy has moxie. He's got mojo. He can find his guys. He can run. He can throw. He appears as such a great leader, and I think Iowa State really fed off that. He plays with 3-4 tight ends on the field at once too. He likes to dish it out to these big guys. Threw a touchdown 21 straight games. That trend continued. I think the kid's just a baller, so I'm not surprised that Iowa State came out victorious in this one. But physically, I thought they were pretty toe-and-toe all game long.
Another Cyhawk snooze fest, okay? If you don't like a Cyhawk snooze fest, you love college football, let me tell you, it might put you to sleep, but everybody needs a little nap on a Saturday morning sometimes, okay? It was a snoozer, but hey, Iowa State gets it done. It's the Iowa State team that could have won by more, but they didn't. They didn't play their best ball, and I think that was really apparent that they didn't play their best ball. Also, I think the biggest difference maker in this game is being able to convert on third down. Iowa was 5-14, and Iowa State was 8 for 15, right? So, like, 5-14 is really bad. Iowa, I mean, do that. Offense, man, and Kirk Ferentz, you gotta go, dude. I'm so tired of you, dude. Like, it was fun for a little bit. Let me tell you, I kind of enjoy. I was like, Midwest ball, like we don't have Nebraska no more.
Little first half action.
They might be on the way back, right? They might be on the way back, but like, I was like, this is cool. Go Iowa, go tight ends, And now I'm like, never mind, dude. Kirk Ferentz, you can hit the road, Jack, because I'm really tired of watching it. Shout out Matt Campbell and Iowa State, Big 12. Team that can make some noise. For
the second year in a row, my guy Kyle Conrarty, field goal to win in the Cyhawk. Gotta love it. I also noted, too, Iowa went down, and it was the first big defensive change I had seen from a team in these big games all season long. Down 13-3, they switched from that zone to kind of a gap running scheme. took Iowa State out of their game for a little bit, which made that third quarter kind of muggy and gross, but Iowa State ended up figuring out. They made some adjustments and they came out victorious. Any more on the Cyhawk game before we head to another one that another rivalry game this week that might have snuck up on some people?
No really thoughts there. Congrats to Iowa State. Iowa, Iowa's gonna Iowa, and that's my thoughts on that game, genuinely.
We haven't seen a border war in over a decade. Kansas at Missouri, two teams that I think are kind of under the radar in terms of how much they actually despise each other. There was a lot of intensity, a lot of just anger, a lot of despair in the building for this one, Kansas at Missouri.
Yeah, those teams both hate each other, and I think we haven't had the rivalry in so long that people forgot. Okay, like there's a whole FKU chant, right? Like these guys don't like each other. They sing songs about how much they hate each other. Okay, and anytime in college football you sing a song about how much you hate the rival team, you hate that team. Okay, this was a really, really fun game to watch. If I'm a Kansas fan, I'm disgusted by that defensive effort. If I'm a Mizzou fan, I'm very, very impressed with the bounce back, right? Like Bo Pribula, Dog, that team, that running back, Jamal Roberts had himself a really good game. Ahmad Hardy as well. Their double running back duo might be one of the best in college football, and that was on display. Kevin Coleman, their wide receiver, had over 100 yards, also a dog. They just looked really, really good. I was really impressed with Mizzou, the way they were able to rally back, and another game where third down efficiency is just a difference maker. And Kansas was 3 for 11, right, on third down. You can't be 3 for 11 on third down and win the game. And honestly, when you scoreboard watch this game, I mean, like stat box, not scoreboard. When you look at the stats, the total yards, Mizzou had 595 yards of total offense, and Kansas only had 226. So like the time of possession, it was 40 minutes for Mizzou and 31 for Kansas. I mean, 19 for Kansas. Excuse me. So sorry. So it's like, the fact the score was 42-31 is pretty crazy, right? And Jalen Daniels in his 15th year tried his hardest, but they just didn't have enough firepower. And Mizzou and Coach Drink, that's a team that gets it done. They know what they're doing. He's really one of the best and most underrated coaches in college football. So shout out Mizzou. They won the border war. I thought we would be remiss if we didn't mention that game because it's really cool to see that rivalry being back for a few years.
God, I love rivalries, and we love them early in the season, week 2, seeing Missouri pull off a 42-31 upset. If you liked points and you liked that game, well, guess what, buddy? Lock in, because Baylor at SMU was a point fest. And not only did you have 4 quarters, you had 6. So you can't really beat the offense in that one. And we gassed up the play last week of Sawyer Robertson against Auburn. We thought he was a guy coming in, obviously led the Big 12 in QBR, returning to the conference. He was a guy who's exploded in this game, right? 34 of 50 passing, 440 yards, 4 touchdowns, third straight game with over 400 plus yards dating back to last season. I think he's fantastic. I mean, to be down 2 scores with less than 5 minutes left, that is elite level stuff. 600 yards, I think, of total offense. You want something on how to dominate on offense, watch whatever Sawyer Robertson did last night.
Like I told Auburn fans last week, I said, calm down. Okay, yeah. I said, Sawyer Robertson is really good. Jake Spavital was one of the best young offensive minds in college football. I said, Auburn fans, pump the brakes. Okay, yeah. I tried to tell Auburn fans that Sawyer Robertson is really good and he is a dark horse for the Heisman. I said this before the season even started. I think Sawyer Robertson is elite. Okay, you said his stats, and I'm going to say them again just because of how crazy they were.
They're crazy.
440 yards, 34 of 50, and 4 touchdown passes. I mean, like, are we serious? Like, and the thing is he had 400 plus against Auburn last week. Like, and that's insane. What he was able to do and just dice and carve that SMU defense is super, super impressive. I think Sawyer Robinson put the world kind of on notice, like, hey, I'm here. Took down an SMU team in double OT, brutal break. SMU missed the field goal from a kicker who's one of the better ones in college football, which is pretty crazy. Just shows you anything can happen in college football, which is why we love it so much. But I'm a Baylor fan. I'm excited. If I'm a Baylor fan, I'm also pissed. I have a defensive-minded head coach, and I'm getting carried by a guy named Spavital. Okay, and Sawyer Robertson. Baylor, figure out your defense. Okay, SMU's offense really good. It's Brett Lashley and Kevin Jennings are really good. But figure out that damn defense. There's no excuse that you should be giving up 45 points. And you gave up 38 last week. So it's like you've got to figure out that defense quickly, Baylor, if you guys want to win it, the conference and in terms of the Big 12, because you're going to see some really good defenses. Iowa State, you mentioned their scheme. They do a lot of a miss and match. I think I want to say they run like a 5-2 at times. So they run a really weird scheme at times. So, yeah, defense has got to get better for Baylor. But overall, they were playing a really good offense. SMU, Kevin Jennings, and Rhett Lashley, two really, really good offensive keys. So, but yeah, overall, Baylor wins time possession. Baylor wins the battle. We need to make a quick joke that the AP voters, bow, bow, bow. We need to make a quick joke that the AP poll voters gave SMU more votes to be the top 25 than Baylor this week. Both teams are 1-1. SMU lost to Baylor, and Baylor's loss is to a ranked Auburn team now. Really questionable. We need to evaluate why you have an AP vote. If you're not watching every single college football game, you probably shouldn't have an AP vote. Okay, and the funny part is this game was on CW Network, so they probably didn't even watch the damn game. But still, like, come on, are we serious right now? Arizona State just lost to Mississippi State. A Mississippi State team that's predicted to be one of the worst in the SEC. They got more votes. Are we serious right now, my brother? I mean, there were so many problems with this AP poll and the receiving votes and not. And I found it really odd. Okay, why did we not rank USF last week if we're going to jump to 18 this week? I don't.
South Florida, my brother.
I don't understand things, and I'm not going to. But if your job, dear AP poll voters, if your job is to watch college football and give us rankings, I really encourage that you watch college football and actually give us rankings. Do not be scared to shift your rankings because your initial preseason rankings stunk, okay? That's okay. It happens. You didn't know ball, but you can know ball now, and you should know ball by not giving SMU more votes than Baylor. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right, that's all I had on that game. I'm on to the next.
Baylor's beaten SMU 14 straight times, and Sawyer Robertson made his receivers look awfully good, too. Two guys with over 100 yards, 145 yards on the day. That's pretty impressive stuff. All right, let's bounce through the next two pretty quickly because they were decent games, kind of odd games. The first one, Troy at Clemson. I think coming into the week, none of us expected that this one would be one that we would be talking about in a little bit of detail. But Troy up 16-17-0. And then this lightning delay happens, and all of a sudden lightning strikes in Death Valley, and Dabo gets his guys to somehow turn up, and they ended up getting the win.
Yeah, Clemson found a way to win. Sometimes you're playing those games, you just got to find a way to win. Clemson, lightning delay helped them, right? Sometimes you come out and you're down 10-0, right? And the lightning delay strikes, and that lightning delay was their savior, right? Dabo was able to go to that locker room, rip tail. So big win. Best movie of all time.
Lightning delay, baby.
Cars. Lightning delay helped Clemson. Really though, like if I'm a Clemson fan, I'm like, hello, what's happening? Because that should not have been a close game. Spread was ridiculous on that game. But yeah, just quick, short, and sweet. Clemson's got to play better. I think every Clemson fan wants them to play better. And you guys clamored that you guys were the real Death Valley. Clemson, I looked at your crowd against Troy, and I was severely disappointed. So please do not call yourselves the real Death Valley anymore. Next.
Yeah, that's stupid. I don't even think we're going to spend that much time on this one. You can give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you think we should. Ole Miss at Kentucky. I know this is usually a scare for Lane Kiffin and company for some reason. Never heard Kentucky football having someone's number, but that's kind of how it seemed with this battle back and forth over the last couple of years, but it ended up falling into the favor of Lane Kiffin after a weird game, I thought, for the majority of the first half. Turnovers, inexperience mixed with technical difficulties and struggle offensively play calling for Kentucky. Just kind of an odd game.
Yeah, wins a win. You start 1-0 in SEC play. Nothing to be mad about. Austin Simmons has got to play better. First game on the road jitters. That Kentucky team always shows up against ranked teams. That's his specialty, right? Is that they show up against ranked teams. For the Stoops staff over there, you just get out of there with a win. I think Ole Miss fans are not satisfied, but also nothing to complain about. A win's a win. SEC play, you'll take any SEC win you can get. And any way it happens, a dub's a dub, and that's all it looks like on the scoreboard after the fact.
That's the truth. And now we're going to take it to a segment that we're going to reintroduce here. We're going to introduce here this week. We're going to talk about it every week. We're going to go through that poll, the AP poll, through the top 25. We're going to call it the Poll Patrol, where we give you your fast pass through the top 25. We're going to alternate here, but first I do want to start by saying this. Ohio State, Penn State, Miami, Oregon, Texas, South Carolina, Florida State, Alabama, Tennessee, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Utah combined to win their Week 2 games by a margin of 697 to 72. We don't care, okay? That we do not care about your Week 2 games. You absolutely demolished every team. I mean, 697 to 72. Like, give them a break. All right, congratulations. You got another check in the win column there. Good stuff. We'll start with number 1. Ohio State beat up on Grambling State 70-0. It was never even a game. Julian saying over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, set an Ohio State record for completed passes to start a game, and fell one short of the school record for consecutive completions. Jeremiah Smith, obviously over 100 yards, as did running back Bo Jackson. A great win for Ohio State moving into next week.
Yeah, coming in at number 2, we got Penn State, FIU. Penn State did not look really good. They won 34-0. Final score is impressive in terms of Penn State's favor, but Penn State scored 14 points in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter of that ball game. It was 10-0 at half. FIU is a program that almost literally disbanded their football program. This should not be happening. You're at home. I don't know. Penn State, wakey, eggs and bakey. A lot of people have money on you guys to win the national championship.
Number 3, LSU took on Louisiana Tech, 123-7. A low-scoring affair for the LSU offense. I think most expected probably a blowout victory of over 60 points, but offensive production wasn't great. They seem to still be figuring out some stuff. Defense, for me, impressed again. Held Louisiana Tech to 154 yards, so 2 back-to-back weeks of impressive play from the LSU defense and Brian Kelly's squad.
Coming in at number 4, we got UGA. UGA did what they needed to do, I guess. They won. Weird game. Rain delay, weather delays are always weird. For Georgia, that running game looks really, really good. They got to get that passing game going. But overall, weird game, weather delays. Georgia fans show up to the games. Apparently, you guys aren't having good attendance, and Kirby Smart's a little mad at you, so show up. On to the next.
My new favorite team that I've never heard of. Those are my favorite things in college football. Bethune-Cookman got absolutely cookedman by Miami, 45-3. Carson Beck broke the Miami single game record for consecutive completions. He's gone 185 consecutive passes without an interception, dating back to last season when he was struggling with Georgia. Miami, this seems to be a team that's getting better each and every week, and I'm excited to see USF go in and kick their tail next week.
Yeah, coming in at number 6, we've got Oregon, Oklahoma State. Oh my gosh. Baby. If I had a belt, I'm putting it straight to the A word, okay? Belt to AZZ. Okay, what a game. Dan Lanning said, and I took that personally, okay? Input the Jordan meme here, and I took that personally, okay? He took it personally, 69-3, an absolute ass whooper. You know, that was just one of those things where I was just really, really impressed with Oregon. Overall, they looked really good. To do that, to make an FBS level program, Oklahoma State look like an FCS school, massively impressive. Also, Oklahoma State fans, are you okay? I'm genuinely worried about you guys. Just a few years ago, you were competing for a Big 12 championship and a college football playoff spot, and you just lost 69-3. This is a homie checkup. It's okay. Y'all, don't worry. Basketball season's around the corner. Yeah, you guys don't have nothing, but it's okay. There's always next year.
If there's any San Jose State fans out there, because Texas put the whooping on them, 38-7. Arch Manning seemed more comfortable. I thought, obviously, throwing for 295 and 4 touchdowns, that's going to happen. Ran for another. He had a little skippity-doo-dah, skippity-dee up the sideline. Score, that was a nice run. He said it was kind of sloppy after, and Sark kind of agreed with him. I thought the stat for me for Texas to improve on, 12 penalties for 115 yards, but a win's a win.
Yeah, Texas really got to clean up the penalties. If you don't mind me chiming in here on Texas, that's what Sark said. He said he's got to get in their butts on Monday. He said it, his words, not mine. Pause. Maybe he said on their butts. I don't know. Actually, let's say, yeah. He said something along those lines, okay? He's talking about, all right, it was about the penalties. Let's get back to the penalties. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, they've got to clean up the penalties. And for Texas, getting in a mojo, getting in the rhythm. They went 2-3 and outs on the first drive. Slow start for them, but their first 3 and out, well, a big gain got called back because of penalty. They've got to figure out the penalties because once that offense gets in a mojo, they fed off. That defense is scary good. I think they forced like 5 turnovers. Maybe it was only 4, but that defense, Texas has a national championship level defense. If their offense can be better than what they were in San Jose State, I mean, that team, the potential is is very high.
9, Notre Dame off because of a bye week, so they got Texas A&M next week. But let's move on to number 10.
10, South Carolina and South Carolina State. Their logos look very similar. Threw me off. There's an S and then a C. If you put them together, it makes like South Carolina kind of cool. South Carolina wins 38-10. Yeah, South Carolina wins. Not really impressed, to be honest with you guys. But South Carolina wins. They move on, survive and advance. It's the mojo of the game.
Femur ball, baby.
I think South Carolina fans were like, what's happening when they're down 3-0 at the end of the first quarter? But like you said, survive and advance. Sometimes those games, you just got to get through them, right? They're going through the motions at that point.
Totally. Let's rifle through the rest of these. Number 11, Illinois. They routed Duke 45-19. I liked what Mensah did under center. I thought he had a great day. Illinois is a team I had kind of question marks around heading into the year. They seem to have high confidence, which is a good thing. That's what you want to see from Brett Bielema's team. I like where they're going. It's kind of been a surprise to me to see where they've placed and how they've played so far. But Illinois, a good win at Duke.
Yeah, not a surprise for me. Had them in my preseason top 10. It would be really good. So I just had to shout that out there.
Skip right ahead to the people down in Tallahassee.
Those Seminoles at 14, BTA 77-3. Just eviscerated that team.
Covered our grounds there. 19, Texas A&M won 44-22 over Utah State. Good win for Mike Elko and the boys down there heading into a big week in South Bend. A lot of pressure on that game, but a good win for them over Utah State.
UL Monroe, Bama. Bama won 73-0. Okay, Bama fans celebrate. That's a good old-fashioned ass whooper. Yep. Tennessee, I want to say Tennessee scored the most points in program history in 72 against East Tennessee State. Indiana knocked off KSU. Number 23, 56-9. Texas Tech did what Texas Tech does. The number 24 team in the country knocked off Kent State 62-14. And for the final ranked match of the day, the 25 ranked Utah.
A mollywhopping a Cal Poly. How about it?
63-9. 63-9.
Gotta love that. Utah making some statements. Devin Dampier leading the charge. 3 tuds. One nice 52-yard bomb to my boy Wayshawn Parker to get the Ute party started. A couple other big wins. I thought I have one. I know you've got a couple more. Vanderbilt, big win over Virginia Tech, 44-20. They were down and just rattled off 5 consecutive touchdowns to take the lead and never look back. I also think Virginia Tech fans, I would like for you guys to win something sometime soon instead of just priding yourself on having a cool environment. It's great. I love it for you, but win some football games and we can talk again.
Yeah, I got some shout-outs. You got the TND highlights of the week, just for the game slates that you might not have watched, but I watched every game. So I saw a lot, right? And these are my quick shout-outs. Shout-out Minnesota, 6-0. The Gophers pressed go on offense this weekend, and it was really, really impressive to see. I think they called that game early, too, which you don't see happening often in college football.
Rare.
But that is what you call a... Next up, we got Texas State over the Bobcats. Big win for GJ Keene and co. over Jeff Traylor. UTSA is a really, really good team. They've got a good staff, but Texas State, huge win. Go Bobcats. Sorry, Meeps, not your week. Next up, we got Army upsetting K-State. Army, welcome back, baby. You lost to an FCS team last week, and this week you showed back up. Kansas State, you guys okay? Probably not. You have the most overpaid quarterback in college football history. I'm just here to tell you, you pushed Will Howard out of the door, told him to kick rocks for Avery Johnson? For that pile of rocks? Oh, geez Louise. I mean, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm taking a sigh of relief. God bless you into the portal for us. Woo-wee. Yeah, really embarrassing, Kansas State. Really, really embarrassing. Avery Johnson is, in my opinion, the most overpaid college football quarterback we've seen so far in the NIL era. Next up, we got Boston College and Michigan State. Absolute nighttime thriller in East Lansing. They wore these cute little black unis.
Jerseys.
They
now.
looked a little sick. And when you wear black unis, you got to have enough ore to win the game. And they won the game in double OT. A little thriller out there in Lansing, Mississippi. My apologies. And Lansing, Michigan. Next up, we got UCLA versus UNLV. Nico, I'm going to leave ya. He needs to, Nico, I'm going to throw the ball into the other team and I'm going to lose the game. Okay, that's what they need to call him. Nico, what are you doing, man? Like, you threw this massive fit and, dude, your team is thriving with that. It's like watching your ex get, like, prettier after she leaves you. If I'm Tennessee fans, like I don't know. I don't know. It's just God dang, Nico. I'm so sorry for you, buddy.
Tough scene.
And I just like to say, Tennessee is the X that got prettier, okay? Tennessee is the X that got prettier. I feel like I didn't clarify that enough. Nico, you did not get prettier. We actually just you sat in a bottle of complacency and didn't go to the gym. You didn't take care of yourself. You didn't throw the damn ball enough. And yeah, that's all I got there. Tennessee got better by Nico leaving, and I'm happy for them. And happy all around. Like to see everybody thriving in life.
We're just
on to the next.
You happy-go-lucky guys heading into the last block of our show here. You guys know it. We've got some segments at the end here. We're going to go first to the culture check. Which programs this week showed identity, energy, and chemistry from week 1 to week 2? I'll start it off. Might be an unpopular pick, but I thought Syracuse. Head coach Fran Brown, obviously hired in 2023. He had his boys running sprints after the game. Yeah, he had them run sprints after the game. He said they weren't running hard enough during the game. They had plays that they weren't running, and they had to make a change. Steve Angeli, the former Notre Dame quarterback, got the Orange, the 27-20 win over UConn. Obviously, they lost 45-26 in week 1 to Tennessee. That's a team that I think had a little bit of a culture check. Fran Brown instituting it at the head, and I think they could upset somebody in the ACC maybe. The next couple of weeks, they got Clemson in 2 weeks. SMU, UNC, Miami, Notre Dame could be one of those that maybe falls to this Fran Brown energy that he's bringing up to Syracuse, New York.
I got 2 culture checks, and one of the culture checks is in a 69-3 beat down to Oklahoma State. Culture check for Oregon in terms of, yes, those players make money. Yes, NIL is great. Yes, Oregon's roster is more expensive than Oklahoma State's roster, probably on paper. But guess what? Florida's roster was more expensive than USF's roster, and USF still beat them. Okay, Oregon had a culture check. Them players make money, and they earn their money. They said scared money don't make money, but they made that money. Okay, and then I got one more culture check, and my culture check was Oklahoma. Okay, Oklahoma really, really impressed. John Napier, swagger, moxie, that front seven, that looked like a elite front seven. And I think really the culture check there was John Napier, and that Oklahoma front seven was like a culture check that those 2 units, their quarterback room and their front seven defensively, can win them some damn ball games. And shout out that offensive line, much improved.
I love it. Let's head into the Swagger Watch. Which player from week 2 stood out to you that is going to have a big year? I'll kick it off here because this guy's father kicked it off back in the day. Tampa Bay legend Martin Automatica Grammatica sunk 2 field goals in the Buccaneers Super Bowl to give them the win. And now his son, a legendary kicker for USF, the Bulls, Nico Grammatica, hit the game-winning field goal to upset Florida in the Swamp. He's got my Swagger Watch this week. Nico, the man. That's Grammatica. Automatica Grammatica. I love it. Great win for USF. On the feet of Nico.
That's a great shout. Great shout. My Swagger Watch of the week, Bo Pribula. Old Bo, man. He said, I'm tired of hearing you guys say I can't throw the damn ball. So I went out there and threw for 30 for 39, 334 yards, and 3 touchdown passes. Bo said, Bo can throw. Okay, y'all like to say Bo can't throw. Bo can throw. He had a little swagger. Like I said, I don't know if a lot of people watched him this week, but we talked about Matier's moxie. Bo had a little moxie himself. He was feeling it, and I was excited to watch. He had a little swagger out there. Really, really impressive. The way he's been able to run that offense and pick that offense up very quickly. That's my Swagger Watch, and he keeps throwing the ball like that. Mizuka makes some noise this fall.
That's a great Swagger Watch there. Now let's go to the flip-flop. Confess one prediction you were dead wrong about heading into week 2. And I'm going to be honest, the 2 big upsets from this week I actually did pick in our family pick'em here. So I picked the Bulls. I was riding with the Bulls, and I picked Mississippi State as well. One I was wrong about, Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. I thought that they would handle Toledo. Instead, it was the opposite. Toledo beat the crap out of the Tops, 45-21. Maybe making UK's win against Toledo, that was pretty tight. Make the Rockets be a little better, make that win look a little better, because Toledo seems to be pretty solid in what they got going on the football field right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep saying it until I don't have to say it anymore. I think Clemson being my number 1 preseason ranked team was really, really embarrassing for me. But another take that I thought this week is I really thought the beef between Mike Gundy and Dan Lanning would get settled a lot differently. I thought Oklahoma State would actually show up and compete, but clearly they didn't even show up. They didn't even get off the bus. They may as well just stayed in the locker room. Okay, they may as well not even travel all the way to Eugene, Oregon with the way they showed up. So yeah, that was my one call me out for. Put it as one of my hot takes because I thought, hey, it's a hot take for sure. Covering that spread is going to be hard. But I thought Gundy and Co could do it, and just really, really disappointing performance.
TND, it's so easy when you pay your players that much.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
You pay your players that large sum of money. It's pretty easy to win. Yeah, that's right.
Hey man, Boone Pickens would be rolling in his grave if your complaint, if you were Mike Gundy, Boone Pickens would be rolling in his grave if your complaint was I can't win football games because of money. Okay, so Mike Gundy never complain about that again, because I promise you, if you want the NIL funding, you could get it. You just don't want to get it. That's all I gotta say.
And maybe for those people who aren't gambling men, this won't be too interesting for you, but it will be for the gamblers who are looking forward to next week. Best games on the schedule for week 3. We got 3 ranked matchups and a ton of good games. I'm going to rifle through them as quick as I possibly can here. Number 6, Georgia at number 15, Tennessee is going to be a dogfight between Uga and Smokey. Not really, but kind of. College game day will be there. It's going to be exciting. SEC atmospheres are so back. Number 12, Clemson at Georgia Tech. The Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech on upset alert. I think going to having Clemson come to them. Obviously, Clemson hasn't played as great as we maybe have expected them to play. Who knows? The Ramblin' Wreck could do some wreckage of their own. 1-1 unranked Florida going to Death Valley, try to beat Garrett Nussmeier, and number 3 LSU at Tiger Stadium. Could be a racket one for old Billy Napier, see if he can turn the bus around. Vanderbilt heads to Sandstorm City, the real Sandstorm City. Sorry, Virginia Tech. I don't know why I'm hating on them today, but I just kind of, I don't know, I'm a little sick of it. Gamecock land, they got number 11 South Carolina on Saturday. Number 23, Michigan. Got to get back in the win column against Central Michigan in the Big House. Little in-state rivalry there. Okay, Central Michigan. Number 13, Oklahoma. Head into the Link, the best stadium in the National Football League, to play at Temple in Philly. Wisconsin traveling to number 19, Alabama. That could be an interesting one in T-Town. Pittsburgh, West Virginia, and Morgantown. Tickets as cheap as $259. The locals want to go. Number 18, South Florida Bulls. The most impressive 2-0 record in the country in my eyes. Travel to the Hard Rock Stadium to face Carson Beck. And number 5, Miami. That'll be a great game. That's honestly my game of the week. I think heading into week 3. Ohio, number 1, Ohio State. Bobcats coming off a big upset win against West Virginia. Arkansas at number 17, Ole Miss. SEC rivalry there. And then, well, not rivalry, but SEC game there. And the game I'll be at this weekend, which I'm super, super pumped for. Number 16, Texas A&M. At number 8, Notre Dame in South Bend. Must win for the Irish in my eyes if they want to make a playoff down the line. But the pressure's on. See if CJ Carr can make it happen. I have faith in the Irish.
Yeah, if you are a betting man, I'm just going to throw out some spreads for you to keep an eye on real quick.
All right, now, here we go.
If you are a betting man, here's some spreads. This is what you should hear from me right now. I'm not telling you how to bet it. I'm not giving you sports betting advice, okay? Let's make that abundantly clear. Okay, Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia at Tennessee. Game day will be there. Spread is only 7 points. Okay, keep an eye on that one. It might move a little bit, might not. Okay, and then we got South Florida, Miami. Miami is favored by 15.5 points. Keep an eye on that one as well. LSU, Florida. Florida may be unranked now, but that spread's only 6.5 points in favor of LSU. A&M, Notre Dame, where Vince will be at this week. Notre Dame is favored by 6.5, but keep an eye on that one. And one game that I would like to point out most clearly, abundantly, is Vanderbilt, South Carolina. Both these teams have seen a common opponent in Virginia Tech. South Carolina is at home. It will be a nighttime game, but that spread is 5.5 points. Keep an eye on that one, folks. And one last one just for fun. Clemson, Vegas still loves you, okay, because you are 9.5 point favorites at Georgia Tech. So, with that being said, those are some spreads to keep an eye on. And I'm excited, man. It's going to be week 3, baby. I mean, it's going to be a great week of college football. It gets me going, man. I love it.
We brought the energy this week, and it's going to be even more next week. A lot of good games, a lot to look forward to. If you like this episode, make sure to tell us why you liked it in the comments below. Give us some likes, subscribe, follow the pages. Both of ours will be in the links in this description of this video. But this was fun, man. Week 2, it's giving us the gifts, and we're making Christmas morning out of it.
Yeah, been an honor. Really enjoy doing these. TND fam, I told you, every Sunday we're recording these. You get them every Monday. We're locked in. We really did make it a goal that this one was going to try to be a little shorter. See, that's a problem.
Fail.
Two guys really just like ball. Did not make it shorter. It was actually longer, but we did add a segment. So, win and you lose some, but I think this is a really good podcast. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you guys like it, please, drop a comment, give feedback, give reflective comments. Also, drop your thoughts on a college football game that we should look forward to next week on week 3 that maybe we didn't mention, a spread that you like, want to keep an eye on. Throw it out there so we can look at it. We'd really appreciate that. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And Vince, it was an honor, bro. Thanks for having me again, man.
Absolutely. Every week, man. Makes my week highlight of the weekend, and I can't wait to drop this one. And we're going to be back next week for even more heavy hitters. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and tune in for more. We've got clips coming out, YouTube, Instagram, Reels, TikTok, Twitter, everything. You guys know what to do. Spam it. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. That's been this episode of Invincible alongside Canyon Sheeran. My name is Vince Wolfram, and we'll see you next time.